Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, April 27th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with the draft edition of Smackdown, aired live last night on Fox from the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati. In the main event, undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes defeated Carmelo Hayes in a non-title match in 8 minutes and 39 seconds.
Super kick by Rhodes, both men at a stalemate. Who can find that next gear? Both men with the same idea. Cody with a gnarly landing on his shoulder.
Horrible landing, about as bad as it could have been. And right now, Melo has the chance to capitalize on a wounded duck.
Cody's hurt. Crossroads. Can Cody finish the job?
Hayes had just been drafted from NXT to SmackDown. Also included in the first round of the draft was Bianca Belair, who will remain on SmackDown, as well as Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, who will remain on Raw. It was announced at the top of the show that Roman Reigns had withdrawn his eligibility for the draft. SmackDown's other draftees for the night in order included Randy Orton, Nia Jax, LA Knight, the Bloodline trio of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Paul Heyman, AJ Styles, and Andrade. Raw's other draftees in order are Braun Breaker, Liv Morgan, Ricochet, Sheamus, Alpha Academy, and Kiana James. The draft is set to continue on Monday Night Raw. Also on the show, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles signed the contract for their WWE Championship match to take place next month at Backlash in France. Carlito turned on the LWO after the LWO's victory over Legado del Fantasma. In other results, Naomi beat Tiffany Stratton by disqualification when Jax attacked Naomi. Braun Breaker squashed Cedric Alexander, and during a promo segment, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton brawled with Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga.
Desperately trying to drag KO.
Talk about an unexpected ally.
Of all the music in the world you do not want to hit, it's Randy Orton.
Tama and Solo trying to bull rush the Viper. Solo escaping the RKO. Orton giving chase.
Several past talents appeared during the draft segments, including Teddy Long, Tori Wilson, the Dudley Boys, Michelle McCool, and JBL. In more WWE news, both Vince McMahon and Nick Khan have listed all of their stock in TKO Group for sale according to a new SEC filing. In McMahon's case, that amount is 8,258,887 shares, the total remaining shares he owns in the company. For Khan, that means 234,424 shares. Once the sales of the stock are made, neither McMahon nor Khan will have any ownership stake in WWE or TKO whatsoever. In All Elite Wrestling news, Max Caster revealed on Twitter yesterday that he had been suspended. Although he did not provide a reason for the suspension, Caster did perform a pre-match rap last Saturday at Dynasty that included several expletives and a sexually explicit reference. Caster has been disciplined by AEW in the past for offensive content in his lyrics. The Acclaimed had been scheduled to be the first AEW opponents for the Grizzled Young Veterans on tonight's Collision, but it's unclear how or if this suspension would impact the match. In injury news, Dax Harwood sustained a concussion during FTR's ladder match with the Young Bucks at Dynasty, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It's not yet known if Harwood would be required to miss time, or if so, how much time that would be. And Powerhouse Hobbs sustained a knee injury during his match against Jon Moxley on Wednesday's Dynamite, according to Brian Alvarez of Figure 4 Online. Hobbs was challenging Moxley for the IWGP World title and was visibly favoring his knee after the match, as well as on his way back to the locker room. The full nature and extent of the injury has not been confirmed. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.